What's up, legends? Back for another episode of the Fitness and Business Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Salmon here, and I would love to run you through the first part of the Fitness and Business Blueprint, which is clearly defining your action plan, which ultimately encapsulates your vision, your goals, and your mission of what it is you're trying to achieve. Because if we don't know where point B is, so if you're currently sitting at point A and we want to get you to point B, if we don't know where that is and it's very clear, then we have no idea of the steps that we have to take from where we are today over the next days, weeks, months, years to get you to where it is that you want to be. If we can clearly articulate that for someone's fitness, health, wellness, the way they look, feel, think, and their performance outcomes in their life, relationships, family, and their business, if we can work out what it is they want to do, how they want to look, feel, and all of those things I mentioned, then we can get them there. But if we don't know, if we don't have that clarity, it's no wonder that people go round in circles without actually getting to where it is they want to go. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through how to build your action plan. So by the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly the steps that we take inside fitness and business to build out someone's action plan, which is, again, the first of 5 elements or components, if you like, of the fitness and business blueprint. So let's crack straight in. The first part is creating a specific vision, which a company does, a business does. It creates a vision of exactly what it is they want to do and where they want to go. So we do that as well for fitness, health, nutrition, wellness, and all those things. So when we set a clear vision, we know how you want to look. We know how you want to feel. We know the performance indicators that you want to produce. And we can reverse engineer steps to take you to where that is. Having a clearly defined vision ultimately sets the standard for how you want to show up in your business, in your family, and in your life. The components that I talk about with fitness and business are being fit, healthy, and strong, having an appearance and a presence that you're proud of. So there's an intrinsic and an extrinsic thing there. How you look, you can identify that. You can go and stand in the mirror, take your clothes off, look yourself from head to toe and decide, am I happy with this? Is this the best effort that I've got? And if not, go and do something about it. Your extrinsic thing is how you show up in a room. When you walk into a room, what sort of presence do you have? And this is, hear me, this is not an ego-driven thing. This is actually a really positive thing, because you and I both know that you've been sitting in rooms before and people can walk in and you may not notice. You may not notice them coming in. There's a crowd that's flowing through the door. But there's one person that's in that crowd that comes through the door. And when they look like they care for themselves, they carry themselves with confidence, they're fit in their body, and when they start talking, you know and you realize that they're fit in their mind as well. The way they communicate, the way they make eye contact, their confidence and presence, it carries a certain weight in a really positive and healthy way. And if you're in business, I would encourage you that that's such an important component to make sure that the way that you see yourself and the way that others perceive you is confident, is strong, so that they know that if you're taking care of yourself, you can ultimately take care of them. The next part of having a really firm, strong action plan is the mission. Once you can clearly articulate the vision for what it is you want to do, it's time to set the mission, which is step number 2. And ultimately, your mission is deeply rooted in your why, the thing that drives you every single day. So there's something that inspires you. There's something that motivates you. There's something that compels you to be a better, stronger, healthier person. And we need to understand for each person what that thing is and what the deeper layers are behind what's driving this person to change. For some people, their motivator or their inspiration for being fit, healthy, and strong is simply their quality of life. For others, it's the ability to show up for their family in the best way that they possibly can. Because, I mean, you know, someone that's not fit, healthy, strong, and is the opposites of those things, you know, often doesn't show up mentally in a very positive way either. For others, it's the link between their personal growth and their physical growth. And so personal growth, personal development, meaning they know that there's a link between how strong you get. And when I say strong, I don't just mean how much you can bench press or how many chin-ups you can do, but how much you can push yourself from a physical capacity really develops the brain in really positive ways. So if you can make sure that you are committing to getting healthier, fitter, stronger in your body, those behaviors and those outcomes carry over into the development of your brain. And for others, it's quite simply a link between making sure that they're the fittest, healthiest, and strongest they can be so that they can generate the most revenue and ultimately profit in their business. And so for whatever reason it is for you, I would encourage you to deeply explore that, link it to your journey, and make sure that you write it down and get a clearly defined vision and mission. Which brings me to my next point. The next step underneath that, which is step number 3, is having clearly articulated goals that link to your mission and your vision. Goals are a really interesting one, and we break them up within fitness and business in 3 different ways. We've got our intrinsic goals, we've got our extrinsic goals, and we've got behavioral goals. And I'm going to run you through examples of what those are now so that you can build out your own. So let's start with intrinsic goals. Intrinsic goals are like things that are driven by personal satisfaction, personal growth, and personal well-being. They're the things that make you operate better and you understand and feel like you're operating better. Whereas the extrinsic goals are things that are ultimately driven by external motivators. They might be things like your family and ultimately being driven to be a better human, to show up for your family in the best way that you can. And many people link an extrinsic goal to their business development or success, which is really great because if you think about this in layers, how amazing is this that you can develop a strong, healthy, fit body, then you develop a strong, healthy, fit mind, then you develop a strong, healthy, fit business. And if either of those 3 are missing for you, I would encourage you to close that gap, draw that link between the missing component and try and get all 3 of them working together, because what an amazing position to be in to have a fit, healthy, strong body, mind, and business. Anyway, let's get back to goals. A little bit carried away there. If we think about goals, if they're just made up or you take someone else's goals, you're not inspired to execute them. If you've developed a strong vision and a strong mission, and then underneath that you sit some goals that you've come up with that are linked to those, that's a really compelling thing to make sure that you execute. And that's exactly why we build it out in that way inside fitness and business, because there's no point having goals that don't mean anything to you. Next up, we have behavioral goals, and behavioral goals are specific behaviors that we have to do every day, week, and month to make sure that we achieve the goals that we set that are linked to the vision and mission. And so if you think about this as a flow, we've got a clear vision, we've got a clear mission, we've got goals, and now we've got behavioral goals that sit underneath that. And it means that all of the behaviors, literally how you act and how you spend your time and the decisions you make, they're built out around setting behavioral goals to make sure that you execute the goals in line with the mission and vision. I bet you do this in your business, because I do, and many other business owners do. We have monthly meetings about money, about operations, about marketing, about HR, all of the things that make up the progress. And when something isn't working or something isn't adding value, what do? We cut it. And if something is working, and it is adding value and it is producing revenue and it's working well, what do? We scale it to the moon. So if the things that you're doing for your health, your fitness, your strength, your wellness, and the appearance and presence sections as well aren't working, then we need to cut them. And what do we need to do with the things that are working really well? We need to scale them to the moon, or at least get some week-to-week consistency with them. And that's ultimately what we try and do within fitness and business. Day to day, week to week, month to month, we make sure that the vision, mission, goals, and behavioral goals are set, they're clear, we understand them, and we set the action plan and we go and get the work done. Bear with me, there's 2 more components that are really important to building out a clearly defined action plan that we do within fitness and business. Once we have a list of behavioral goals, we set minimum standards, which you could otherwise refer to as non-negotiables. They're things that you've decided that you want to execute, you want to achieve, and now it's up to you to decide how I'm going to spend my time. So we really bring this back to your calendar, your square, whether it's a paper diary, whether it's a Google Calendar, it doesn't matter. There's 168 hours, and this is really spoken to a lot in the fitness industry, but it's actually really important because if you put in all the things that you need to do day to day, week to week, month to month, to make sure that the cogs keep turning, the business stays alive, the family unit stays together, you've only got a certain amount of time left over to play with. And so you have to understand that and really decide where I'm going to put all these elements to make sure that I take care of my body and my mind and show up how I need to. Talking about minimum standards, I've seen guys get mad results physically, mentally, business-wise, when they just get really ruthless with their action plan, what it is they want to do, and then they go and get the work done. They spend time articulating all of the points, and they just get real clarity on exactly what it is they want to do. And do you know what they do after that? They don't put it in a file or stick it on the wall. They just go and get the work done. That's the real key behind all this, is not just, getting excited about writing things down and building a pretty picture of what it is you want to do. It's actually going and getting it done and building the resilience and the consistency in your work ethic and your ability to show up every day, week, month, as I said, and do the things you said you would do to make sure that the action plan gets executed. And I guess the last component that we run through is about focus and distraction. There's a really great saying that someone taught me a while ago. And I said that like that because there's so many sayings out there. And I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine today, and we spoke about sayings and quotes and things that are on shirts and stuff. And we were talking about how that's such a common thing these days for quotes and using them as captions and things like that on videos and whatever. But the real merit is in taking that phrase, quote, caption, and learning the lesson behind it and understanding what it means to you to implement it. And if you can take hold of this, feed focus, starve distraction, you really, again, from a flow perspective, for underneath your action plan, you've got your vision, your mission, your goals, your behavioral goals, executing on your minimum standards. In the interest of feeding focus and starving distraction, if you genuinely want to get fit, healthy, strong, have an appearance and presence you're proud of, you need to understand all of the layers of that, build it out, work out what they are for you, write them down, but then go and do it. And in the interest of feeding focus and starving distraction, take a look at how you spend your time, where you spend your time, who it's with, and is it contributing to you moving forward in the direction that you want to do with your family, your business, your mission, your life mission. Like, work that out and get passionate about it and put some effort in. I know for me, it's been amazing what has happened when I've really focused on what it is that I want to actually do and how I want to spend my time. It was fundamentally the reason that I left my old job with government and moved into being a business owner. Was it an easy decision? No. Was it painless? No. Was it something that I thought would be easier? 100%. It's way harder than I thought it would be. But the beauty is, just like fitness, wellness, looking after yourself, becoming a better operating human, the more you can make decisions around getting uncomfortable, the more comfortable you can find in the discomfort, the better results you will produce for yourself, for your family, and for your business. I'll leave you with that. That's action plans. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next podcast. Have a great day. Thanks for listening in. Once again, I'm John Salmon. If you want to know more about how to get in touch, or you want to know more about the Fitness in Business program, the link's below, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.